Alright, so we at the mercy of this ever-changing light outside, and not sure how this is gonna look. Hi there, Somatex here, back on another video. So this one is supposed to be short. I'm gonna talk about the use of filters. Alright, first of all, I'm gonna say, well, professional photographers, I don't expect them to use filters. We have something called LUTs on our end of the side, right, or of the spectrum. LUTs are basically what filters are. So you have LUTs for different cameras, right? There's something called shooting log, right? It's the same as shooting raw in photography, but in doing videos, it's called LUTs, or it's presets in photos, right? We use something like that. But whenever you're starting, whenever you're new to this photography thing, or you want your pictures to look good, you're not that much into being a photographer yourself, you will use something called filters, right? So apps have filters like your VSCO, Lightroom, Instagram, Snapchat, and whatnot, right? And well, I'm gonna focus mainly on Instagram. People use this most of the time to have a consistency or a consistent look. Let me check. A consistent look on their profile, and I've got nothing against that. But well, if you don't have the technical sort of ability or look into these things, you might end up messing up your pictures, right? So few guidelines. All right, so here are things I think are even more important in terms of the use of filters, right? It's two things. The first one being the use of black and white, right? Usually when someone uses black and white on their pictures or on their picture, it's usually because it's a badly taken picture, or usually it's bad looking, it doesn't look right, right? So they just put a filter, the black and white one, and well, the person doesn't have a lot to focus on because there's no colors, you might think, right? But well, if you're into this thing of editing pictures and whatnot, you will know that they sort of is profiles of colors, right? That are still involved in that picture. So you can still edit those, right? Emphasize them, de-emphasize them, or make them contrasty or whatnot. Well, it's black and white, so pushing contrast will sort of, if you watch my previous video, pushing contrast will mean the difference between the white and the blacks is even more elevated, right? So with black and whites, well, you might think, well, because there is no color, there is nothing else you might do, but there is different black and whites, and they can also be adjusted, right? Take that into account the next time you use black and white, right? The next thing is, well, the use of those beautifying filters, right? Usually, or when those came, firstly, it was on those Huawei phones and whatnot, and people started using them, especially females, right? There are few problems with these, right? Firstly, I would advise you to not use them if you want to maintain a certain look in terms of your facial features and whatnot on your profile or brand and whatnot, right? But well, if you're not that serious into this thing of having professional looking photos and all that, well, you can use them, because well, if you're editing, that is part of editing as well, like smoothing the skin and whatnot. But we use something called frequency separation, and we maintain skin texture. That thing, well, it destroys everything. Everything becomes so smooth, and sometimes as well, it even destroys the bone structure. We use something called dodge and burn in order to maintain good bone structure, right? So if you're using those filters, well, you might want to be wary of those things, right? I think these are even more important than the next advice. All right, let's get back to the video. In fact, yeah, just a few guidelines, right? I've tried this thing myself and I failed. That was at the beginning of my Instagram career, around 2014, 2015, somewhere there, right? So what you want to do is, when you're putting on the filter, well, you want to maintain the filter, right, that you're going to use on your photos. And The important thing, I think this is just the one point of this video. If you're using a filter, it's gonna be, well, using the same filter, right? So it's gonna be different situations. In some situations, it's gonna require that you become aggressive with your filter in order to maintain the same look, right? But in some situations, you might find that you don't need to be as aggressive. That is where this thing of adjusting the intensity of the filter comes in, and you must use this all the time, right? It will depend on the look of the original image, and it will determine how much of the filter that you have to put in. Adjust the intensity of the filter. I think that is the point of this video. Learn to adjust the intensity of the filter and try to stick to one filter at a time or every time, right? And then, well, something that you might want to avoid, things like the blue filters. I'm not sure of the names, but I'll check them out on Instagram. The blue filters, most of the time, blue added on top of the thing doesn't really look good, right? So avoid those filters, and some of them just sort of saturate everything, right? You find extra greens, right? Find extra blues, blue skies, as I was saying in the previous video. You want to avoid those, right? There are ones where those vintage look ones can try those, but well, there is a whole sort of theory behind using film look and old style look in your photos that you might want to get into to see why you really shouldn't use this stuff. But that's not the topic for today, right? Main part of this video, if you're using filters, let's make an example, right? I'm not sure if it's Valencia or something like that. There are filters that make your pictures warm or yellowy looking, right? On a hot day, well, the picture you take is already yellowy looking, right? It's already warm. You don't need to warm it that much. Put a filter, take the intensity way down so that it will sort of be the same as other pictures you would have taken on a cold day where the intensity was maybe left the same, or at 100% or at 90% or somewhere there, right? That is my take on filters, right? It's not bad to use filters if you're beginning in the game, because even at the highest end of this thing, we still use something like filters, although it's a bit specified. Is it that right way? It's a bit high end, right? So if you're using filters, take that into account and play with them. Avoid those blue ones, avoid the ones that make your picture extra saturated, right? And that is it for this video. See you in the next one. This was short. Hopefully I look good, because this lighting is unreliable. Okay, that's been it. So much. Peace.